Oh no, I didn't forget him. I'm calling him up tomorrow.
You work tomorrow?
No,
You drove that car?
my car.
No, this morning my car.
Yeah, to move it. It felt weird to be honest with you. I was like, God damn, man, this is some futuristic shit right here. So I backed it out.
You figured out the button?
Yeah, I figured it out. I'm like, what the fuck is this, man? They don't got the switch or nothing. So you got to push the button in. You got to push the button out. It felt weird, bro.
And then you seen the screen when you reverse?
It felt kind of weird.
You liked it or what?
I don't know how to feel about it right now. Like it was just so different. Hello, welcome back to Underrated Movies. I'm your guy, I'm your man, Mr. Alton Henry. And today I like to talk of another underrated film that you have to check out on not Netflix, HBO Max. And it's another A24 film along the lines of other A24 films that I've been talking about for the last 2 months now. Wow, that's crazy. And this here is actually my second or third time watching. Can't remember. Might be my second time. I don't know. Oh, whatever. Yeah, whatever. But Equal, starring Nicholas Hoult, Kristen Stewart, Jackie Weaver, and Guy Pearce. It's a science fiction romantic drama set in a utopia. We're in a world where people have been, let's just say, it's a society to where you have to basically subdue all of your emotions or close them all off. You can't feel, you can't have relationships with people, where they brought it to a term of an illness called SOS. I forgot, it was switched on something. I forgot what they abbreviated is. Where basically you can't have no emotion, you can't feel anything. But these two, Kristen Stewart and Nicholas Hoult, they feel something. They try to have a romance, and they have to try to keep it secret from the society that they're in. And it gets to the point where they have to leave the dystopian world that they're currently sheltering. And honestly, this film was on my radar when I first saw the trailer. And I gotta be honest, I think it's a crime that this film doesn't get a lot of attention. I mean, it's kind of similar to Hunger Games. The kind of dystopian, kind of like sci-fi adventure where society is secluded to like one specific faction, and they have to abide by the rules of it. And you focus on some characters that go against it. They're basically retaliating against the government. They're retaliating against the society. They talk about the future. No, what was I? Yeah. Nicholas Hoult, Kristen Stewart, they fall in love, and they try to keep their relationship under wraps until they are somebody from their jobs suspects that something's going on, so they have to leave. The cinematography in this is breathtakingly, I would have to say, even though there's a lot of like light blue, and like, well, this is one of their A24's best looking movies that I've ever seen. One of the best, I mean, like one of the top artistically best, beautiful looking movies. I feel like each frame is a painting of its own sort, and it's astounding. And the cinematography in this is amazing. Like, this is one of their top cinematography. If you're looking for a good A24 film with cinematography, I would have to say this is really up there. Performance wise, Nicholas Hoult, I thought he was good. I thought he delivered some depth to a scenario where he has to portray a character who's basically emotionless, and I thought they do a superb job. Him and Kristen Stewart, mostly Kristen Stewart. I thought she deserves high praise for this film. And I can kind of see it, but the way she's able to pull it off, I thought even better than that Twilight movie. Thank God I don't have to revisit it anymore. Where she conveys emotionless and then jumps into emotion, and you see it in a few times. Certain parts of the movie where there's moments where they're in a scenario where they kind of start the relationship, but when they have to kind of pull back from it, you see the resistance that both, most particularly her, that she can't really back away from, and you see that it's kind of tearing her apart. You see that, which is actually one of my favorite moments in the film, where after a while, where Nicholas Hoult from the boss suspects that they're having a relationship. They try to call off their relationship, and then after from being away from a while, she really shows up from her, like, in front of his doorstep, where she's just like distracted. She's just like emotionally just overwhelmed, and you see that, and then she starts attacking him. It's like, dude, I just can't resist this urge of loving you. And then they get into a moment which was a heartbreaking, but kind of lovely little scene that I thought was amazing. Like, man, I could tell you, if you watch this film, it makes you feel like love is irresistible. And this is a thing that I really noticed from watching this film, where the film, one of the themes in the film is that the government, and I'm seeing this now, is trying to control how you respond, how you're supposed to portray yourself, how you're supposed to be human, and suppressing some of your human instincts. Here in this film, it's kind of nearly impossible to suppress certain characteristics of what it means to be human, because, well, there are things that we naturally do as human beings that we have to express. We have to have emotion. We have to have, some sort of intimate touch of another human being, some sort of interaction from a human being. Because if we continue to suppress that, I firmly believe that, and this shows in the film, where if you don't have a way of controlling your emotions, people choose to opt out, or get this sort of procedure where it basically erases all your emotions. Where most, I would say, I guess, would prefer the opt-out method from the film. And there's a few moments where our main characters, when it gets to a certain point in the film, it kind of leaves that option as to how do I handle this. And then, yeah, you feel for these characters, especially when, the capital G finds out their activities of what's going on. You're really rooting for them to get out of there. You're really rooting for them to make it out and have a happy ending. I will say this: the movie kind of has a balance of a good and a happy and sad ending. I kind of like that they had that kind of balance of it. They didn't sugarcoat it, but I kind of like that they tried to balance out the good and the bad. as for the ending, it leaves it a little bit more hopeful. I thought this was one of the best romance films that I've seen. Something completely different. And I think it's one that you should check out if you have HBO Max. And I'm actually amazed what they were able to achieve with the scope and what they were able to do with this. I thought this was a really intimate film, exempling of how important is connecting with another human being, emotions, love that sometimes you just can't resist. Equals, have you seen it? Comment below, let me know if you have, and let me know what is your favorite underrated movie.